Folks, I've been hearing a rumor that some people actually think bad acting ruined the prequels. Hard to believe, I know. But, there's some of us that actually think that bad acting has always been a part of Star Wars. Back to the old trilogy, right? But what are we to expect from the new movies? Are these new stars going to be follow tradition and be bad actors as well? Well, that's what I'm here to find out tonight, folks. But before all that, what are you listening to? This is Star Wars Delusions of Granular. That's right, Granular. GRANULAR.com is the website where you can find all of our episodes. Folks, usually I have to spell out the word granular whenever I'm hearing people questioning the name of the show on the interwebs, and I like to point out that it's not grandeur, it's granular on purpose. So, we are a Star Wars podcast. My name is Ron. I'll be your host tonight. And we are a Star Wars podcast that we basically talk about Star Wars. I like to have fun with it because, that's what Star Wars is. Fun. You can find all of our shows at on iTunes or Stitcher. You can subscribe to us there and go back. You can listen to all of our episodes. In fact, if you go way back, you may even hear another voice on there. That would be my co-host, who is taking a little bit of a hiatus, but might be back soon. We'll see. My co-host JP is off. He had a little baby, and he's being a father, so can't blame him for that. Anyway, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com /SWDog, or at Twitter at SWDog77, or leave feedback, additions to the show, want to tell me how wrong I am on things, give us a call, 651-337-9364. That's a free call for most people. Goes right to our hotline, so you're not going to actually talk to me in person, but you'll be able to leave us a message if you want to do so. Or you can always just email us at swdog77@gmail.com. And, if we like what we hear, we'll use it on the show. All right, folks. So, bad acting. Is it Star Wars tradition, or is it something that we can overcome? Well, I was trying to figure out how to tackle this subject, and I thought, well, why not look into some of the work that our new crop of actors, the new cast, has done. And I don't know, this will probably be a multi-part episode, something that I'll continue on between now and the release of any of the new movies, I suppose, whenever I can get my hands on some previous work that the new cast has done, or new cast of any of the movies, I suppose. But I wanted to kind of start with the, I guess the two leads, Daisy Ridley and John Boyega. Now, had to track down, did a little bit of a search. Not, by no means is this a comprehensive look at their filmography, but I wanted to get a hint of what they're capable of as actors and actresses. So tonight we'll be focusing in on a short clip, a short from Daisy Ridley called Blue Season, and then we're going to concentrate on a film that John Boyega did, a film that I actually watched before I even knew he was going to be in Star Wars, that many folks have seen. So if you've seen it, this isn't going to be a review of that movie. I just wanted to kind of review his performance, and that movie is called Attack the Block. Very low budget sci-fi, not horror movie, but sci-fi invasion movie that came out a few years ago. So this is why I was able to track down for these two actors. I'm sure they have other work out there. Possibly I'll find it later at some date. But just wanted to concentrate on these two things for this episode. And like I said, I'll move forward with other actors. I got I got some work from Oscar Isaac coming up. I got some work from Domhnall Gleeson, some work from Adam Driver that I want to review. So, like I said, this will not be episodes simultaneously in a row, but whenever I have a chance and can watch something other than Star Wars, I will check out their work and let you know what I think. So, anyway, let's start with this Blue Season. Now, this is a short film. Like I said, it's only about 5 minutes long, really, and it stars Daisy Ridley and another actor by the name of Kenneth J. This came out in the UK in 2013, and it appears to be that it was a part of a competition. It's a competition called the London 48-Hour Film Challenge, and what they did was they were given basically 48 hours, I believe, to make a movie, and they were given a few things to kind of get the ball rolling. So what the filmmakers were given here was they were given a title. They were actually given the title of Blue Season, and they are given a prop and a line, and they basically have 4 hours to film it, edit it, and deliver it. So kind of a student film type of thing. Like I said, pretty short. So anyway, what is this film about? Well, it's about a woman, a girl named Sarah, and she wakes up. Start of it, it's basically Daisy Ridley. She stars as Sarah. She's hanging upside down in some type of cell or, I don't know, dark room. And a phone rings, and it's a wrong number, but she yells for help, and the guy on the other end is kind of ends up trying to help her, and gets her out of this cell, and kind of lets her escape from wherever she is. And it's not clearly defined of where she is or what she does, but she ends up kind of escaping from where she is and ends up in a field and kind of collapses. Her nose is bloody, and throughout the entire thing, she's kind of irritated by something on the back of her neck. It's not clear what it is, but it ends up, we find out the big twist in this is that the Kenneth J, who plays the operator, the guy who is talking to her on the phone, he apparently is torturing these women. He's responsible for her hanging upside down at some point. Because he has a list, and he's basically calling these women. It's a list of women's names, and he's kind of calling them, and I guess when they are dead or unconscious or whatever happens to them, he crosses their name off the list, and he kind of goes on to the next one. And not really anything else really explained about that. This is truly a student low-budget film, and very artsy. Lots of kind of close-ups of Daisy and her running, and being kind of going through this torturous spasms and whatnot. So what can I say? Well, I said I wasn't going to really review the movie, but I wanted to review Daisy Ridley's performance. I would say it's adequate for a student film. It very much feels like she's still a student actor here. A little bit overacted, a little bit a little over the top, but nothing horrible. It wasn't like we were watching something that was kind of embarrassing for her. I mean, I would say it's good that it definitely has a sci-fi feel to it. So it's not like Natalie Portman is gonna walked into the Phantom Menace and didn't really understand what sci-fi is or how it works. I mean, this definitely had some sci-fi vibes to it, and I think for what it's worth, if this was Daisy Ridley's first film or whatever, there's room to grow, and I think she'll be fine. It's definitely 5 minutes is not enough to really get a real good take of how she's going to perform in The Force Awakens, but something to watch. And you can find this on YouTube if you want to give it a try. It's like I said, it's 5 minutes. It's not really a big commitment of your time. I will say this: she definitely has a British accent in this. I know that this is a topic of speculation for The Force Awakens. Is how is she going to talk? Is she going to have a British accent? Is she going to have a English or American accent, or is she going to have both and kind of go in and out of it like Carrie Fisher did? But she definitely has a British accent. Definitely, if she's going to play British in The Force Awakens, that shouldn't be an issue for her. Is she from Britain? I'm not entirely sure. Let's see what the Internet Movie Database says. Oh yeah, okay. Yep, she's born in London. So there you go. She was born in London, so that would explain why she has a British accent. All right. So if I find more on Miss Ridley, I will let you know. But so far, this is pretty much all I could find on her. And until I find more, let's move on to John Boyega, because I think there's a little bit more meat here we can talk about. The movie that I watched, Attack the Block, that came out actually a little bit earlier, came out in 2011, and like I said, this is definitely a sci-fi-ish movie. It's basically about kind of a gang of street thugs, kids in a gang, and they're out for no good. They mug a woman at the beginning of this film, and not the nicest guys, and ends up they encounter some type of creature, an alien, and they kill it, and take it to their friends kind of in this building, and it's trying to figure out what it is. A lot of them think it's fake, a lot of them think it's a puppet, but it turns out it's just the start of an alien invasion. As they're kind of in this building, they see all these other looks like falling stars or meteors falling from the sky, and all these other creatures kind of start attacking people and moving through the city, and our gang is trying to kind of profit on this. So they're looking at one of the crash sites and seeing how that they can make some money off of this. And these creatures, very interesting. They're kind of they're kind of black, very pitch black gorilla type creatures with glowing teeth. The effect is very simple but very effective. I think this is another relatively low budget film, and they were able to make a pretty effective film with hardly any real huge special effects here. Now, John Boyega, he plays kind of the main character in this. His name is Moses, and he's kind of the leader of this gang. And he's kind of the person who we follow his arc throughout the entire movie. He goes from being kind of not, like I said, not the most likable character. Definitely committed a crime, definitely out for no good. And, at the end of the day, he ends up kind of realizing his wrongs and kind of almost sacrificing himself to save the day, and it showed a lot of I would say range for this character. I think for this actor John, although he's not a likable character in this, I think this portrayal makes him a very likable actor. He's definitely has screen presence. I noticed he's got great eyes. Like, his eyes are very captivating. I noticed that. Also, so these kids, they're kind of wandering around this, the block, which is basically a high-rise. And they're kind of trapped there because all of these creatures are going through, and they're kind of battling these creatures, and they're armed with bottle rockets and fireworks, and one kid has a baseball bat, another. Some of them have those katanas, those swords, kind of like from Kill Bill type of thing, martial arts swords. John Boyega definitely has one. There's a point where he kind of raises it above his head, and he's going to kind of bring it down upon one of these creatures. And as he's raising it above his head, he accidentally sticks the blade into the wall and can't get it out. And I was like, okay, this is not good for his potential to wield a lightsaber. If he's having a hard time with just a regular sword, but it's amusing. He ends up the other kind of lead in this is actually the woman that he mugged, a woman by the name of Jodie Whittaker, and like I said, he has an arc where he goes from being kind of this nasty guy to kind of saving the day or sacrificing himself to save the day. Well, this Jodie Whittaker, she kind of has a change of heart too. She kind of does not, this gang that attacked her, they end up in her house, in her apartment, because they're running from these creatures, and she has to go from despising these kids to kind of trusting them to actually helping them defeat these creatures. And good role. Hard not to imagine her role being very similar to what Daisy Ridley might be playing in A Force Awakens. We have this character of John Boyega who's kind of going from bad to good. Jodie Whittaker, Daisy Ridley, not really the damsel in distress. Maybe more of the woman with some heroics of her own. So maybe some parallels. Who knows? Maybe the casting director saw that and was like, yeah, this is good. So one thing I did notice about this film, and I find it very interesting, is another guy who is in this, who I swear when I watched it the first time around, didn't even realize he was in it, even though he's very a distinct actor, is Nick Frost. Nick Frost we know from the from Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. He's kind of connected to the Edgar Wright movies and, of course, Simon Pegg. And we all know that Mr. Pegg is probably in The Force Awakens. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, is there an actor connection here? Is the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, John Boyega thing kind of connected to this? And I started to scratch the surface a little bit more. And folks, maybe you knew this, but I did not. But Attack the Block was written and directed by a man named Joe Cornish. Now, Joe Cornish is actually known for going on to write another screenplay for Ant-Man. And the controversy with Ant-Man was he was writing it with Edgar Wright, and both of them were kind of quit or were kicked off of that picture and replaced by other writers and directors. But I was wondering if maybe Joe Cornish has maybe a future as writing for Star Wars, because here he wrote this really kind of tight, suspenseful, low budget sci-fi adventure here with Attack the Block, and I was like, yeah, I could see this, along with kind of connections to Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, and maybe John Boyega has those connections as well. I like to think that a lot of these actors kind of travel in the same circles, and I just found it curious that here's a guy who also worked on The Adventures of Tintin, the Spielberg movie, and I was like, that's it's a nice resume that could really kind of fit in with the Star Wars universe, I think. I in the past I've been kind of critical of Simon Pegg and what he's how outspoken he has been against the prequels, but now I'm starting to see kind of a connection here, and maybe he is maybe this Edgar Wright gang has a future with Star Wars. Who knows? But yeah. So anyway, I think John Boyega actually has we get a much better idea of his acting chops with this movie, and definitely in its own right, Attack the Block is definitely an enjoyable movie. Definitely, if you folks have not seen it, I would definitely check it out. I'm sure it's easily available. Like I said, it came out about 4 years ago already, so John Boyega is a bit younger in this. I think they actually say that he's 15 years old. And I'm just looking here on his Wikipedia page, and apparently he's born in 92, so makes him 23. So I didn't realize how young he really was, or is. His resume seems pretty short. It's a little bit longer than Daisy Ridley's, but he hasn't done a whole heck of a lot. So, it looks like, well, I'm sure Star Wars is going to give him a big, huge career ahead of him. So, hopefully, there'll be good things coming his way, and we'll get to see some fine acting from him in Star Wars. So, all right, folks, I think that about wraps it up for tonight. Like I said, more of these coming your way as I kind of go through and try to find other work that some of the actors that are going to be in The Force Awakens and beyond will be in. Yeah, I think next up will be Oscar Isaacs. I think he has a little bit more of a resume, and I'll be checking out a few of his works as well. So, until then, folks, I don't think, I'm not entirely sure about Daisy Ridley, but I don't think we have to worry about John Boyega's acting, because he definitely was quite effective in Attack the Block. All right, well, if I might as well wrap this up for tonight. Again, this is Delusions of Granular. I'm your host, Ron, and until next time, folks, stay granular.
A blockbuster summer. Moving pictures got us through to September. They made a movie about me and you, and they made it half good and half true. There was a blood-sucking summer. I spent half the time trying to get paid for my savior. Swishing through the city center, I did a couple favors for these guys that look like Tuscan Raiders.